Hey friends out there, Rob here. Today I want to talk to you about setting up the Model 12 to work with your MPC, Key 37, or Special Edition, whichever one you got, the Live 3, all at one time. We're going to select multiple channel inputs. We're going to get everything set up and tell you how to do all the routing. In case you want to know, it's going to be real simple and easy. So let's check out the gear that we're using today. We got the Model 12 right here, and I got a little ND filter so you can kind of see to make it a little easier for you. We're going to go over that, but the Model 12 has, of course, 12 inputs. Well, 10 inputs and 12 channels. We've got 6 mono, 2 stereo, and then 11 and 12 is your left and right master bus. That's very important for when you're working on the Model 12 specifically by itself, but doesn't necessarily make as much importance when we're working on the Key 37. But today we are indeed working on the Key 37, but this could be any MPC hardware. So let's go ahead and talk about how we get all of this set up and running. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our Key 37 and we're going to connect it to our Model 12. They both have USB ports. The Model 12 has a USB-C. The Key 37 or your MPC hardware has a square USB and a rectangular USB. That's USB-A and B. Just use the USB-A, which is the flat rectangular one, to USB-C. Connect them together. Bob's your uncle. If you need to, you can use an adapter, and that will work well also. So let's look at the Key 37, which is also your other MPC hardware, to make sure that it's going to do exactly what we want it to do. The first thing we're going to do is come over here to Preferences, and at Preferences, we're going to make sure we're on the audio device, and we're going to select Tascam as the input from the Model 12s or from the internal. Okay, and then we're going to select 32 inputs and outputs. Now, when we select that, the Key 37 or your MPC hardware will ask you if you want to reset. Say yes, because that's setting up everything to work properly. But we're not done. We've got some more work to do, so we're going to come over here to the Tascam Model 12. On the Model 12, there's a lot more to configure here right now, and we'll go through all of it. The first thing that we're going to want to do is start a new song. In order to start a new song, we click our menu, go all the way up to the top, Song New, and then we name our song. We have to have 44.1 kilohertz, and we can use 24 bits as the max. We cannot use 4824 or 4816. If you use anything other than 44.1, what will happen is you'll get a USB mismatch, a file mismatch, and you won't have any communication. 24-bit works here. We're good to go. After you've got it named, click OK. I'm going to exit because I've already got it done. When we're all said and done, we have then configured the two to talk together, which is good. Now, the next thing that we need to know about is how the two devices talk to one another. And the reality is they are not really aware of the capabilities of each and every device. For example, the Key 37 or your MPC hardware can route up to 32 channels of audio. Well, the Model 12 only has 12, and it routes those 2 of those channels, the return channels, onto 2 of your current channels you might want to use. So we got to figure out what to do with those. The point is they don't know what they have. So when you're assigning your routing in the Key 37 or your MPC hardware, you have to be aware that the Model 12 doesn't know where it's going to go until you select its destination from the slider, and the hardware you're using doesn't know if it does not have an output, right? So keep that in mind. Just because it shows you that you can select input 24, there is no input 24 on the Model 12, so it won't do any good. That being said, let's look over at the Model 12 and talk about these sliders up top. Okay, so the sliders at the top, the left is live, the middle is PC or DAW, and the right is multi-track recorder. The position that you have these sliders directly determines how the sound will send out to the mains and what you hear. Something important to know that we've got 12 channels, but only 10 inputs. And channel 12, 11, and 12 is our stereo left and right. It's always recording when we press record, no matter what channel you're in. So if you have a channel armed, which you may or may not have depending on how you're using the Model 12, we'll talk about that in a second, it will always record what's ever armed regardless of what channel you're in here and then play back. If there's signal going to it and you record with your if you arm a channel onto multi-track record, you can still record over top of it, even if you're not hearing it live. So that can kind of that can be a big mystery to some people. Why do things change? Because you may not hear it through your headphones when you're monitoring. Then disarm the track. Don't record over top of it. In any event, let's talk about what we do in the menu. We go to Menu. We scroll all the way down to System. We then scroll from the top down to USB audio, and then our multi-inputs to PC. This is going out from Tascam to the PC. We can choose multi, or the stereo mix would just be 11 and 12. We want to do that, so we choose multi. That way it's sending all channels out. And then the return from the PC, where does that go? Here, because the two have to talk to one another as a loop. It has to connect. Well, I choose channels 1 and 2. You could choose main. But if you recall what I said earlier about main, everything will constantly be recording. So if you want to choose main, that's fine. You can choose channel 1 and 2. Later on, we're going to assign channel 1 and 2 to separate things in the MPC hardware. So if you chose main, if you chose 1 or 2, depending on how you are recording, that could be important to you. For me, I'm just going to keep it right here. It doesn't really matter. I'll choose main in this instance. I'll just choose 1 and 2. It doesn't really matter. And you'll see why in just a moment. And then we exit back out to the main menu. Okay, while we're on the main menu, I want to show you what this little button right here, meters, does. When you press the meter button, it's going to cycle through all 3 of your metering types. This is your PC return, which is the center of your selection SWIP. This is your MTR return, which is the right of your selection. This is anything that is sending signals. So you're looking at all 3 right now, so it's not labeled. And then your live input. Okay, now when we look at our live input, sorry, this little thing keeps moving around. When we look at our live input, you'll see that channel 1 has some meters, some levels coming in on it. That's because channel 1 is the channel which I'm using to talk to you, right? I want to be able to talk to you throughout this entire thing. So channel 1 is doing that. So channel 1 will not be using the other modes. The rest of them may, and I'll show you when you switch between them to do different things. Before we get into the song or how to set it all up, it's all set up now. We're going to route it in a second. There are 2 different ways that you might use this. If you're just connecting the Model 12 to the Key 37 or your MPC hardware, because you need additional inputs, that's the most normal way to use it. You could do it as a backup recording, so you have several different recordings in multiple places. But the most useful way is connecting it like this allows you to use all 10 inputs on the back, mix subgroups, bounce tracks, record them, and add additional recording tracks to the Key 37 or your MPC hardware, but gives you a board to manage all of your inputs instead of attempting to use the Key 37 and its inputs in the back, which just give you 1 input at a time. Here we can have up to 10. Obviously, a larger board, you would have more inputs. That's the normal way you would do this. That's the most useful way. The next way is you might just connect this as a line out directly to the Key 37 and just record 1 track at a time, doing none of this setup, just using the mains out and then connecting that separately. In that instance, you'd get to record in 48K 24-bit to the Tascam for each and every one of your individual tracks saved here, as well as build the actual song or the beat in your Key 37 so that you could use all the effects. Whichever way you want to do it, it's up to you. Today we're doing it the first way. Okay. Now that that's done, let's talk about how we get some sound over here. So I'm going to come over here to the MPC hardware, and the first thing I'm going to do is add a track. And new track, there we go. And we're going to add a plugin. Okay. This is a plugin, and you can hear it. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that it says that the plugin is coming in and from any port, but it's going out to 1 and 2. Well, if we come back over here, we can see that 1 and 2, you can see 1 is my voice, but the live input is just showing my voice. So if we come over here and we select our additional meters again to our PC return, you can see that the PC return is sending 1 and 2. Okay, but you're not hearing 1 and 2. Okay, so right now, if I were to, let's do that again. You can see 1 and 2 are right here, but on that's the PC return. That's because 2 is in the PC return slot, but 1 is in the live slot. Notice you don't see anything happening now. I'm not playing. I'm playing now, but not now. And if we select through these, now you see the live from my voice. If I were to switch over, right, the live, you would not hear me. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Did you hear how that stopped? Okay. We don't want that. We need this channel to stay free. So channel 1 will stay 1. And we're going to send these keys over to channel 2 directly. So we do that by selecting the output. On the output, you scroll past all of the stereo outputs to output 2. Now, we've selected output 2. Let's go back over to the Model 12. Notice I've switched to the all meters monitoring. Okay, it's not just the live input. You see where it says live. It's not just the PC return. It's not just the multi-track return recorder. It's the all. So the current one that we're seeing is channel 1. That's my voice. Okay, and now channel 2. That's the MPC. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to add another track, right? Okay, so we've got some keys, and we of course could update. We could make them louder if we wanted. Let me show you how to do that real quick. The monitor automatically sets to auto, which is what you want, which is great, but we've got a channel strip right here, and although it may be difficult to see, there's a little white line with an arrow pointing to it, and you can slide that channel strip up and down. So listen, this is your gain boost. Okay, I just did a video about setting unity gain. You can do that on the input, and you can do that on the output side. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's do something else. We're going to add a rhythm track, right? I want to add another track. So in this instance, we just did a plugin, which is any one of the instruments on your MPC that you might want to have. Strings, this, that, or something else. At this point in time, we're going to come over here and we're going to add a new track. And this time we're going to choose audio. Okay, now, because we chose audio, there's no audio to have, right? So let's come back here and look at it. Well, what kind of audio are we going to do? I'm actually going to use a Bluetooth track. So I'll show you how to bring in audio from Bluetooth to the Model 12 and send it over to the Key 37 or your MPC hardware. In this instance, I've got I've got something I want you to hear. The way we do that is by pairing our Model 12 with our Bluetooth device. Okay, so to pair with your Bluetooth device, you tap and hold the pairing button until it blinks. And then you go to your, let's do it real quick for you. It's going to blink. See how it's blinking right there? Okay. Then we come to our Bluetooth. And I'm going to go to my details. And I'm looking for the Model 12. It's not down here because I've already attached to it before. So I'm just going to tap the Model 12. It's going to connect. Now, it's already connected, but normally it would ask you to connect again. Like, do you really want to pair? And you'd say yes. So now we're connected. But now we have to tell the Tascam Model 12 what channels to use for the Bluetooth. And we do that with Bluetooth assign right here. So although we're paired, we can turn the Bluetooth off so that 9 and 10 will be a standard stereo channel. Inputs could be whatever we wanted. But in this case, we could assign it to main if we wanted to listen to what we were doing at the same time for some reason. And we can assign it to 9 and 10. And that's precisely what we're going to do. Now I'm going to come to my phone. I'm going to open my music app, and then I'm going to play some music. Let's bring the volume down using the Bluetooth. The gain knob on 9 and 10 won't work. You have to use your volume knob on your Bluetooth sending device, your phone. Okay, so great, we have some volume. But on our meters right here, we can't see 9 and 12, 9 through 12. So we need to click the 9 through 12 button, 9 and 10, and then main. So we can see all of that now, and then go back to 1 through 8. So we're good to go. Okay, so now we can press pause there. Everything is set up. But we want to make sure that we can get this over to the key 37. So we just selected an audio track. You can see it right there. I want to press play. Okay, and when I press play, I'm going to also move. I'm going to do something important. I want you to see. I'm going to press play now so you can see and you hear it, but I want you to see that I'm moving the mode from live to return. And I want you to see what happens when I go to MTR return. Notice that 9 and 10 goes away, but I'm still playing. The music's still playing. This is going to be important because in a moment we will need to use this slider in order to record this music into the key 37. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here for a minute now. Pause that and turn the slider back to Bluetooth so we can hear it. So going back over to the key 37. Bingo, bingo. We're at the key 37. So we are on this new audio channel, and we could rename it, but we'll use it Audio 1. And, okay, BG. We're going to call it backing track. Now, this backing track already has all of this stuff built into it to play over top of. We're going to turn monitor to auto, and we're going to turn inputs 1 and 2. We need to turn it to 9 and 10. Now, let's do 7 and 8 first. Okay, it's right there, and I want to show you. Okay. It's playing. I've pressed play. But notice that there are no levels. Now watch what happens when I select 9 and 10. Do you see how we have some levels now? Now, the levels are low. It's telling us down there it's like minus 60 decibels. That's because the audio is low. If I want to turn it up, I'm not going to do that for us, but you would turn it up to boost the gain. I'm also going to stop the music now. You can see what happens when I stop it. Okay, so our outputs are 9 and 10, or our inputs are 9 and 10, but what about our outputs? Okay, we need our outputs also to be 9 and 10. And the reason is, when we switch the mode up here from live to PC return, if we don't have our outputs to 9 and 10, we won't hear back through the Model 12 what we have recorded. And I may have waited a minute to bury this lead, and I didn't mean to, but the Model 12 will handle your audio routing. So if you're sending your audio out, this is your interface. So you may not, at least I don't, hear any audio from the back outputs of my key 37. Why? Well, it's because it's sending all audio through the audio interface, and that's normal. So we need to change those outputs to where we want that audio to go. And obviously we want the audio to go to the same place where we recorded it, since we're using it in this way. So 9 and 10. So let's go ahead and put all of these three things together so that you can hear how it works. Right now, I'm going to come over here to this guy. And what I'm going to do, I got two things. I've got to turn my original audio back to live, right? So that when I press play on here, it will work. And I also want to do this so that you can see. So I'm coming over here to the side, and I'm making sure that I'm arming this track for recording. You can see that, but I'm also coming to my transport controls, and I'm double clicking the stop button, and I'm getting ready to press the record button. And now I'm going to press play start. and it will begin recording. The first thing I want to do is I think I'll actually want to come over here and make sure that my beats per minute match my recording beats per minute, what I'm getting ready to do. And I'm going to give myself, I think 8 bars. That'll be plenty of time for what we're doing. Okay, now I can come back to my track. Everything looks good. You'll hear a little chime kick in when I press start. Okay. Now, if we've done everything right, we should be able to hear that when we play back. But we have to switch our 9 and 10 from Bluetooth live to PC return. So I'm going to go ahead and play start. Nothing's recording now. And you don't hear anything. But you can see in the MPC, it thinks there's music. There's obviously something there. Well, watch what happens when I switch my 9 and 10, which is the channel we just recorded live, over to return. And then it starts over. And that's it. So what do you think of that? Today I've shown you how to connect these devices, how to set them up, how to route the audio, and how to bring in a Bluetooth track and send it over from one to the other. I think that's really cool, which means that you are now capable of making as many awesome beats, loops, tracks, or whatever as you want. And if you want to send me a cup of coffee or a thank you, do that through PayPal or Cash App. And if you've got any questions I can answer, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I hope I have been helpful for you. I want to thank you so much for watching and remind you I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye for now.